Court Uncut, what the people want.
Kansas, case entitled In the Matter of the Marriage of Leandra Babels and Arbery Babels, case number 2019 DM 213. Leandra McClure, I think she goes by now, appears by Zoom. Arbery Babels appears from the Butler County Judicial Center's Zoom location. Apparently, this is a hearing set on a motion to enforce parenting time. Mr. Babels, just some initial observations by the court. You filed a motion in this case that you appeared to try to verify, in other words, verify the truth of, but for some reason you didn't fill out the date that you were verifying that these allegations were true. Was there a reason why you didn't want to do that?
That I think it's not that I didn't want to verify the dates. Are you saying for the parenting going forward from here?
The execution of your signature, right above it, there's a line for you to fill in the date you're doing it. You just glossed over that. Furthermore, it is required that you provide contact information, and the lines are there to fill in. It's very important that anybody who's going to represent themselves follow the same rules that attorneys follow and give contact information, your address, your telephone number, preferably your email address as well. But for some reason, you didn't want to provide that information.
It's not that I didn't want to provide it. I would be more than happy to, and I can fill that in after we leave here. That would be, as trying to file for myself and not being an attorney, that would be a mistake on my part, as just I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Okay, and I recognize that, except that when the form itself says name, print, address, city, and telephone, you would think that any common person would know that you've got to fill that in. You can't just ignore it. And that is the signature page of your motion, page 304. So, I'm just saying that if you're going to file these motions and or pleadings, you need to follow the same rules an attorney would follow and give all of the pertinent information.
Absolutely. And
I don't see that you ever gave notice of the hearing to Ms. McClure. Somehow you got a hearing set by apparently calling my assistant, but you have a duty to notify the opposing party of the hearing date and time if you want your motion heard. Ms. McClure, obviously you're very resourceful. You came up with the hearing date and time on your own. How did you do that?
I called the district court clerk, and they forwarded me to your clerk, and she gave me the date and then forwarded me the Zoom link information.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah,
okay?
no, I did inform her I did not get a notice of hearing with the motion when I got served.
All right, but be that as it may, Ms. McClure has had actual notice of the hearing date and time, and she's appeared. So essentially that defect's been remedied by her efforts. This is a motion to enforce parenting time, Mr. Babels. I'm curious about number 2. I last requested parenting time from the other party on 8/8/2025 via Zoom call with Judge Ricky. Is that in a separate case?
so it was during the PFA that she had filed that I was, it was, she was trying to do the PFA, which she didn't meet the criteria. And I thought I had basically, I wanted parenting time for my daughter, which you had talked about that, or said for me to do a motion. You didn't tell me to do a motion, but thought it might be a good idea or urge me. I mean, you can look at the video to file the motion. That's why, I'm doing this. I don't, I'm just trying to see my daughter every other weekend. Now, if I didn't do the paperwork correctly, we need to start over, I'll do that. Or if I gave the information to the district court clerk in where the glass window is, she said that the sheriff's office would take care of getting her the information, which I put her address, she put on the PFA, which I took most of the information from, which I didn't have before, and tried to, so I assumed the sheriff's office was going to deliver it.
And I think they did, but the point is they delivered your motion, but no notice of hearing.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about that or how that works.
And if you're going to represent yourself, you have to follow rules. That's
absolutely.
Okay. Let me make sure I understand the situation. There was a considerable period of time, as I try to discern your motion here, that you were apparently working out of state, 5 hours away, I presume would be out of state somewhere. And you didn't see the child for over a year?
So I worked in Phillipsburg, Kansas.
Okay.
So I worked for the sheriff's office up there for a little over a year. And anyways, I moved up there to try to, I knew they were changing sheriffs, so I was going to go for a undersheriff spot. I was trying to further my career, make more money, and get weekends off with the admin position. That didn't work out, and they chose somebody else, and I'm back here in Wichita. But during that time, we had one vehicle, and it wasn't that great. We had 8 kids at the time, and didn't have the money to go back and forth. Now, if I didn't know what I needed to do to reestablish the parenting visitation, or if I could at all. Maybe I can't. I don't. I'm just trying to do what I can.
Okay. Under normal circumstances, Mr. Babels, the court would just expect whatever written orders are on file are going to be followed. But that also presupposes that a parent is exercising or attempting to exercise their parenting time on a regular and consistent basis.
Okay.
The understanding is these will be the orders to be followed by both parties. And you didn't follow it for over a year. And I understand there may be good reasons why you moved and were working 5 hours away in Phillipsburg. But the reality is there was a substantial period of time where there was no father-daughter contact. Now, if anything changes in that year, it obviously has an impact as to whether it's appropriate for you just to show back up one day and resume the prior plan. While I don't necessarily encourage mothers in a situation that Ms. McClure was in not to follow the parenting plan, it hadn't been followed by you for a considerable period of time. So what have you been specifically requesting that you're not getting?
So the times she said I was, in her words, harassing her through different social medias, threatening to take her to court. That was me trying to ask about my daughter, see how she's doing, if I can see her. So during that time, I would have been, the few times I came down, I was willing and able to see her, but she would not let me. So that time has passed because she wouldn't let me see her because I had to go back to court, which I told her, and she said I was harassing her. So during that time, it's, I would have seen her if I could have, if she would have allowed me to. She would not allow me to. And now I'm back to where I'm able to go to court, make the motion. Apparently I didn't do it right. So if I need to start over, I can start over and do it the correct way. But yeah, I feel during that time I could have seen her if she would have allowed me to. And she said I was harassing her. That was me trying to see my daughter. So.
Well, first of all, peaceful communications that are intended just to set up parenting time are not harassment. Okay. You have every right to do that, Mr. Babels, but okay, the child, I'll call her KIB, all right, is now 9.
Almost.
All right, Ms. McClure, if he's in the area, is there a reason why he shouldn't have his parenting time reinstated?
So the communications that he sent, he last saw Kennedy on April 8th, 2023. He's missed 62 weekends of his scheduled weekends with her. I have the text messages showing of the last time on April 19th, when he said that he would not be getting her because I had asked if he was going to get her on her weekend. She had a soccer game scheduled. He said, no, I'm working both days. And since she has a game, I don't want to get her. Then prior to that, I have multiple circumstances where he didn't show up for his scheduled weekends. In September of 2020, he went all entire month without getting her, emailed my original attorney saying he was going to take me to court because I wasn't allowing him time after that because I had scheduled her birthday party since he didn't communicate. I have text messages from him, but they're not asking for Kennedy. They're asking, hey, how are you? Hey, why don't you talk to me? It's not ever. The only time from April 8th, 2023, April 19th, 2023 is the last text message. And I received no communication from him until November 14th of 2023, when it said, all he said was, how's Kay? And then I got nothing else until January 25th of 2025, when he said, hey, hi, how are you? He did not specifically ask for Kennedy until May 20th of 2025, where he sent a text from a new number demanding Kennedy, but called Kennedy a him multiple times, and said that if I did not give her, he would file a motion. So I had said, I don't feel like that's in the best interest of Kennedy since you haven't been around for 2 years, and I would assume her therapist would agree. So if you feel the need to file a motion, like, that's on you. I do have Kennedy's intake assessment and her therapy notes from her. She's had 2 therapists because her original therapist moved out of the area. But I do have the assessment and the therapy notes talking about Kennedy's anxiety that has stemmed from things she's witnessed from my ex-husband and the attachment issues she has because of that. She is actively in therapy.
All right, what parenting time are you proposing, Mother?
I would be okay with him receiving parenting time, but I would like it supervised to start with until Kennedy's comfortable. Because I don't want to thrust her into a situation where she hasn't seen him in 2 years. She has 2 younger siblings she doesn't even know exist. He's had more kids. She sees his older children from his first marriage. She goes and spends time with them. His oldest is 22 and lives in Mays. And so Kennedy goes over and has sleepovers and spends the night with her older siblings. So I'm not keeping Kennedy from her family. I'm trying to make sure it's in a safe environment for Kennedy not to cause any more issues in her mental health.
Do you know where Mr. Babels is living?
I know he's in Wichita. I've not been there. I have been told it's a 3-bedroom, and I do know that there's 8 children, 6 of which are boys. So that brings up another concern of where is my almost 9-year-old daughter going to be when she's there? In past, a lot of the times when it was his scheduled weekend, he was working. So his now, I'm assuming they're married, his now wife was picking up Kennedy and dropping her off and watching her. I have text messages of concerns where Kennedy had stated she was taking baths with her older brother. When I asked Ryan about it, he told me that what he does on his time is not my concern, and if I have concerns, take it to the court. And I told him, you know, I'm not trying to argue. I'm trying to co-parent effectively. And you being a law enforcement officer, you should know the importance of this conversation. Kennedy would come back dirty in the same clothes I took her in on Friday. I want it to be a healthy, stable environment for Kennedy. I have messages showing where I made the effort of, hey, are you coming to get her? Hey, she has games. In his motion this time, he complained about Kennedy's inactivities and that I want to be there. She's my daughter. Of course I want to be at her activities. She's been in gymnastics since she was 2 when we were still married. Now she's on a competitive team. She practices 3 times a week. She has meets on the weekends. Like, I don't want to take the consistency that I've built up with his lack of consistency away from her because he's demanding time with her when he can't be consistent. I'm just concerned for Kennedy not doing well with the inconsistency, because it was, you know, she knew that drop off was every other weekend at 6 p.m. on Friday at Quick Trip. And so I would go to Quick Trip. And then if he wasn't there, I had to explain why he wasn't there. And trying to protect, in 2023, she was 6 or 5. Trying to protect her innocence and not tell her, you know, your dad's just chosen not to show up. I would make excuses. Hey, your dad's at work. You know, something came up. I'm sure he'll reach out and contact me about coming to get you again. But it didn't. I have text messages where I asked if he was coming to get her, and he said that no, he was busy with his wife's boys and he wasn't coming to get her. I don't feel like it's a lack of me not trying. I would love for her to have a healthy relationship with her dad. I would love to be able to have some time without her constantly around me 24/7, but only if it's safe for her and it's consistent.
All right. Where do you live, Mr. Babels?
Wichita, Kansas 67207.
All right. Who lives there with you?
My wife Veronica, and she came with 5 boys when we got married. 2 of them have moved over with their dad, so we have 6 children. We have 2 bedrooms upstairs and a bedroom downstairs, and you know, we seem to fit fairly comfortably. We utilize this
though with all these boys there.
Can you turn it up, please? Sorry, hold on just a second. I couldn't hear. What was that?
Where would the daughter sleep?
So I have 2 daughters at home. One's in pre-K, and then the other one's just about to be 2. And there's a girl's room that we were planning on making with a bed for Kennedy. There'll be a bed for my 4-year-old daughter, and then my other little one. I didn't see a problem with that.
All right. And where do you work?
So I work for At Risk International during the weekends, and I'm a fill-in guy during the week. If people are gone or whatnot, that I think is based out of Virginia, but I'm at the T-Mobile call center there, and I'm the armed security plainclothes. That's what I do there.
Okay, but you work every weekend.
Every weekend I work. Yeah, I can take off days, so I can take off I can work all day Saturday and have off Sunday. I work 2 to 9 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. You know, during my career, I've just always worked weekends. Either for the prison was a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, Monday. For the sheriff's office, I worked every other weekend, 12-hour shifts, and every other weekend I had off. That worked out pretty good. And this is my circumstances now. Maybe maybe I guess the little time I could get with her or whatnot during the weekend, maybe I guess maybe I if you work during the weekend, maybe I guess it's just too much to have visitation, and that's because she'd be spending time with. I mean, my wife helps out, and we'll go get her and come back, and has been nice. Tried to speak to her, which I think prompted the PFA. Tried to say hello, and then her siblings there. Yeah, we would like to incorporate her into the family and go to the zoo and spend time. And yes, I would have to go to work, but I mean, I've got to work, so I don't know quite
Understood.
what else.
Understood. All right. In what community do you currently reside, Ms. McClure?
I live in El Dorado.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I add something real quick?
Just a moment. You previously had chosen Quick Shop in Benton for your
So
exchange point.
we were originally at Quick Trip in El Dorado because he lived in Eureka. He had told the court when we were divorcing that he was planning on moving to Park City. The agreement stated Benton would be the drop off. He never moved to Park City.
Well, he's in
and when-
Wichita now, though, East Wichita. So
Yes.
any
He
reason
is
that wouldn't be a viable exchange point?
in Benton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
All right. Does your child attend church on Sunday mornings?
She does.
Okay, at what church?
We go to Real Life Church on Haverhill.
Okay. All right. So she wouldn't be attending church on Saturday morning.
Correct. Currently, she has gymnastics class on Saturday mornings. She has gymnastics class on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. The Saturday class can be adjusted if needed. But for me, she was enjoying it. It was something to fill her time.
All right. So when was the last time that Dad really had meaningful parenting time with KI?
The end of 2022, beginning of 2023 was the last time he was somewhat making an effort to get her, but it was still very inconsistent on if he actually took her or kept her the whole time.
All right. This is a less than desirable parenting time situation. This court certainly envisioned both parents being very actively involved at every stage of this child's life, not with long periods of deprivation of one parent from her life. However, the right of the father to parent in this case is not just at common law, it's not just statutory, it's constitutional in nature. And the court doesn't say that Mr. Babels has done anything by way of conduct that would disqualify him from having meaningful parenting time with his daughter. The question is, how do we structure it based on what the court views as new circumstances? And it's generally the court's view that after long periods of separation, there needs to be some reacclimation time before any type of regular schedule is initiated. So this court will order the first visit to be one where the mother is present, but not actively involved in it. And this is how the court structures it. The first visit will be a restaurant visit, just you and your daughter and the mother. The mother is not to sit at the same table, but can sit close by. I want KIB to be able to look up and see her mom. Okay. I'm not going to necessarily choose a commercial establishment, but I've found that this generally works well. It's a relaxed setting. Child gets a meal, can visit with father. Generally about 1 hour in duration is what's contemplated. And just talk to her. Explain your situation, kind of talk to her about what you intend to do during your parenting time that you have with her. And then what the court wants to move to after that, after you've had this reacclimation restaurant visit, and we're going to clarify a time and place on that before we go off the record here, then the court envisions that you have 4-hour visits, no overnights. I think overnights are simply premature at this point. But I think you ought to be able to spend some quality time with your daughter where you are available, Mr. Babels. So this has to be 4 hours that you're available. Now, before the court was told about gymnastics and church, the court envisioned either Saturday or Sunday, 9 in the morning, which isn't too early for anybody to get to Benton, until 1 o'clock p.m. That still allows you to get to work by 2. I don't really want to see your work schedule disrupted. That could have some sort of long-term employment issue for you, Mr. Babel. So I really want to see you keep your normal work schedule, but work in a 4-hour period every other weekend that you can spend time with your daughter. So the question for mother is it going to be Saturday from 9 to 1 or Sunday from 9 to 1? Does she miss gymnastics or church?
It's whichever is more convenient for the courts. I can rearrange gymnastics if needed, if it's easier for the courts and him.
Well, quite frankly, in the whole scheme of things, I think the exposure to a religious environment and perhaps some moral environment seems to the court to be, over the long term, more desirable on a regular basis than gymnastics that can be rescheduled.
Absolutely.
So I think we're looking at Saturdays from 9 to 1.
Every Saturday or every
No,
other Saturday?
Every other. She needs to have some Saturdays she can be with her mother. Now, this will allow kind of a slow reacclimation, a reintroduction into the father and his new life. I have no doubt that you're going to take her to the house at some point, Mr. Babels, and she can meet and become more familiar with the people there way before we ever consider going overnights on this situation. And this allows you a regular and consistent schedule that you don't have to ask for or fight for. This is a court-ordered visitation schedule that you should be able to plan well on. And folks, I do need you to show up at Benton on time so that the other one doesn't have to wait on both ends of the visit. A question that will arise, however, on the back end, I always want Mr. Babels there at 9 o'clock. As far as the 1 o'clock PM, can you commit to always being the transporter, Mr. Babels?
You mean to get her to Benton?
Yes, on the back end of the visit, the 1 o'clock part.
Yeah, I don't foresee a problem. And after that, I can go right to work. So
Okay, all right.
that'll work fine.
Well, that's far more desirable. In fact, that's time you can actually spend with your daughter during the drive. So it seems to be the best manner to reintroduce the father and his situation into the child's life after a long period of separation. Now, this first visit, which we can certainly do on a Saturday morning, what restaurant do you envision, Mr. Babels, that where your daughter would be comfortable? And I'm going to ask the same question to the mother. Somewhere
Does
preferably
the
in
track?
between your two residences somewhere?
Oh,
Mother, you have an idea?
I don't know. I was gonna say the Cracker Barrel in Park City, but that's not between.
That's not between, if it's on a morning for, if it's breakfast, she likes pancakes, she likes French toast. She likes anything that she likes to be distracted. She doesn't like to sit still, so.
Okay. Well, this is a one-time deal. I think the
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel in Park City is certainly an appropriate environment. That's a very child-friendly environment. And I think they have pretty good breakfast selections. if I
They
recall.
do, they have good buttermilk pancakes.
Okay. And this first visit will be at the Cracker Barrel in Park City. Again, that's intended to be about an hour in duration.
From 9 to 10.
Yes. And also, I think it's pretty well open seating where the mother can get a separate table. And just kind of keep an eye on things. But the child sits with dad.
I have a 16-year-old. Is it okay for me to bring him to sit with me?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want him interfering anymore.
No, I just know he'll be like, why don't I get to go to breakfast with
He
you?
gets to go.
Girl.
You pay for your table and Mr. Babels will pay for his,
Okay.
including the child's. Okay.
What if Kennedy does not want to sit without me? How do I address that?
You're going to be sitting close. She
Okay.
needs to sit with her dad.
Okay.
I want them to have, as they eat, they can have a discussion between the two of them. And I think she's old enough to handle it, especially with you sitting so close by.
Okay.
It's meant to create a comfortable situation for her, and you can explain it to her in advance.
Okay.
So when are we going to do this? Sooner the better.
My weekends are open, so
Saturday morning,
this
Saturday.
Saturday, the
Yeah.
6th. That works for me.
You want to set it at 10, 9, 10?
We could do 9.
Okay, 9 a.m. Meet at the Cracker Barrel in Park City. And I think the court set the parameters for how that's to happen. Hopefully she'll just develop a little bit more of a comfort level with dad so that when the 4-hour visits start, which will be 2 weeks from then,
So the
on
20th.
Saturday, then she'll be a little more comfortable about going with dad. And Mr. Babels, you separated yourself for a long time. We can talk about the mother's interference as you seem to suggest by your motion, but the reality is she appears to me to just be looking out for her best interests. And really, we just want everything to go well for her. This is what all of this is about, just making her comfortable. But you do have a right to see her, spend time with her. This time may be expanded at some point in the future, but for now, this parenting plan set today replaces any previous parenting time that the court has ordered. So for now, you have a new temporary parenting plan.
The 28th. Sorry, go ahead.
I do have some questions. She starts her gymnastics competition season in December, and normally her competitions are on Saturdays or Sundays. How would you suggest working through those? Because most of them are not in town.
Well,
The original parenting plan states that her activities and school stuff basically trumped the schedule.
true, but he had a more liberal schedule then.
Right, right. I just don't want her to have to miss out on things that she looks forward to
Any chance
accommodate
Dad would go watch her?
schedule.
But I don't think-
That's up to him. I just want to, our previous issue with her activities was he wasn't showing up or bringing her on time. And that became an issue because then she misses out on her activities. So I want to make sure that she's able, because some of them she has to be in, like last year we had one in Salina where she had to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Well, do these competitions take both Saturday and Sunday?
No. Normally they're Saturday or Sunday. And we get about a week or two before that, we get the time, like the time schedule of when her actual session will be. It's normally a 3 to 4 hour session.
Okay. Well, I don't want Dad to miss his parenting time. So if she has a Saturday competition, we'll move his visit to Sunday.
Okay.
If it's on Sunday, obviously the Saturday visit would still take place.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Thank you.
You'll need some flexibility on that, Mr.
Yes.
Babel, and I trust the mother will always let you know well in advance that there's a competition, where the competition is, what day it's on, and then you can schedule your weekend parenting time accordingly for the other day if necessary. All right. It's a fair question. After this initial visit, exchange point will be, it's an actual quick shop in Benton.
Benton, there's a gas station right off the highway there.
Okay. You know what station he's talking about?
Yeah,
Before?
yeah, it's right. Yeah, it's a quick shop.
All right. All right, that will continue until further order of the court. All right, Mr. Babels, anything else regarding your motion at this time?
The 28th starts the 4 hours. Does that start at 9 a.m. and do we meet at that quick shop?
2 weeks. Want to make sure we're talking about the same dates. The first one is, yes, Saturday the 6th. So your first 4 hour visit would start at 9 a.m. on Saturday the 20th. That's correct. And meet at the quick shop from that point on.
Saturday the 20th at 9 a.m. and then I'll bring her back at 1 o'clock. And how long do you want that to go?
I'm not sure what your question is.
Is that my visitation time, the 4 hours
Yes.
to get reacclimated? And how long? Of course, later on, I would want more time with her. I guess I can make a motion. How long would you like to see that go on for?
Well, that varies. Each situation is different. And quite frankly, I don't know how this child will adjust to this reintroduction into you and apparently a rather large family units situation. This child is currently working with a therapist. And does Dad know who the therapist is?
No, he doesn't.
All right. Well, at that point, the court very well may want therapist recommendations about any broadening of parenting time.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to put a strict time frame on it because I just don't think I can do that without having some opportunity for both parties to see how she reacts to this.
Sure.
I'm certainly not
Understand.
precluding expansion in the future, Mr. Bagels.
Okay.
I'm going to do that consistent with the best interest of the minor child.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Very well. So until further order of the court or the parties agreeing on an expanded parenting plan, which you're certainly encouraged to do, then this 4 hour every other weekend plan will be in effect.
Thank you.
All right. Explore anything else?
Can we address child support while we're
That's
on?
not really before the court today. What's the issue?
Okay, I didn't know if it was a part of the parenting plan. He is over $20,000 behind, and he's supposed to provide insurance for Kennedy, and he has not done that either.
Are you providing?
I am, I was actively, we've qualified now for Sunflower Health, but I do have to pay a monthly premium for that as well. So I am providing her insurances.
Good. I just want to make sure she's covered,
Yeah.
important.
I've had her covered the whole time.
especially if she's in gymnastics. Who knows what? will
Yeah.
happen.
Yes. Yep. She is just recovered from a broken thumb. So, but not from gymnastics, from a birthday party.
Okay. Sure, there's a story. That's why the birthday party was so violent, but
It was not a coworker, a classmate's birthday party, and there was a trampoline apparently, and one of the other kids fell into her thumb and she broke her growth plate on her thumb. So she's been having x-rays and physical therapy, and all of that. So
Of course, that is the kind of thing that should be reported to dad,
absolutely.
just so that he
Yep.
knows what's going on with her.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. I planned on making basically here's what's going on with her medication wise, anything like that from now on. But
all right.
I didn't know where he was. He had changed his phone number 6 different times since 2019. So I honestly didn't even know how to give him that information.
But you have that
before all of
information
this.
now, right?
I have I believe his current phone number,
Okay,
the most recent one he's texted me from.
okay. And she can continue to use that, right, Mr. Babel?
What's the last four of that phone number?
874.
Yes.
Okay.
Good luck in working together for the best interest of your child. If there's nothing further at this time, this matter will currently be in recess, and this meeting may be ended for all this time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more crazy court hearings like this one.